This is the third part of Windows Form Visual Controls. In this video, we are going to write a simple application that uses radio buttons and checkboxes. So we use the radio buttons for selecting the sex, and as we select different sex, the result is displayed at the bottom of our form using a text box. Same goes with the civil status. As we click each radio button, it shows the selected option. And for checkboxes, under favorite subject, as we check an item, the item is displayed at the text box. And as we uncheck the item is removed from the text box. So if we check all these checkboxes, all of the items are added in the text box. But as we remove it, it removes the items as well in the text box. Same goes with the favorite fruit. As we check each item is added, and as we uncheck it, item is removed. So let's start creating this simple application. So in this project, we will add radio buttons. So from your toolbox, let's look for the radio buttons. So at the top, we have a search bar for the toolbox. So let's write here radio button. So you have here now the radio button, and then place it inside of your form. And then while it is selected on your keyboard, you may press Ctrl C and then Ctrl V to paste a new copy of radio button. Okay, so let's do again a Ctrl V to create a new one. So let's name this radio button with mail. So let's look for the text property, change the text property to male. Then the second radio button, female, and then others. All right, so by default, we don't have any default selected radio button. So to create a new default selected radio button, let's select male, and then from the properties, let's look for the check property and then set this value to true. And observe that the male radio button will contain a tick mark showing that this is the default selected option. Okay, so let's try running this application to see the effect of the changes that we made. So here it is. We are now selecting the options from this radio button. Okay, so let's add more. So this time let's create another set of radio buttons, but this time we will do an options for civil status. Okay, so let's copy and paste this. Copy and then paste. And then we will name this to single. So the text property, change this to single. Let's do another copy and paste. Copy and then paste. Use Ctrl C to copy and Ctrl V to paste. Okay, so we have now two groups of radio buttons, the sex and the civil status. So let's try running this and let's see what will be the effect. All right, so as you can see, as we select an option from the sex, we can no longer select from the civil status. So because they are contained in a single form. So what we want to happen is that we can select one option from the sex and one option from the civil status. But at this moment, we cannot do that because they are sitting in the same place inside of a form. So what we will do is to use a container, what we call the group box. Okay, so let's stop the application and then let's find the group box. So here we go. We have now the group box, then click, then drag inside of our form. And then after that, after dragging the group box, size your group box enough for it to fit these radio buttons. So drag and drop it inside of the group box. So now the civil status are contained inside of a group box. So let's examine what will happen. Okay, since the sex are placed inside of a form and the group box is also placed inside of a form, but the civil status options are placed inside of a group box. So meaning the sex and the civil status are sitting in the different place. So since that is the case, we can now select options from the sex and options from the civil status. Okay, so let's arrange our controls by placing it somewhere here, and then let's add a name for our civil status. So select the group box and then look for the text property and then change this to civil status. And then let's add a label for these options so that we can separate and create a good layout for our controls. Okay, so let's look for a label. So this is our label, place it somewhere here. And then let's add a picture box. So picture box is also a container, but it is used for displaying picture. But for this moment, we are going to create the picture box as a separator. Okay, so this is the picture box. Let me repeat, where did I get the picture box? So on the toolbox, we have there the search bar and then type there picture box. And then once it is displayed, so just click, then drag just next after the label. All right. And then we have to change the border style of our picture box. So to make a good separator appearance, let's go to the properties while our picture box is selected. Properties, look for the border style. There you go. And then change this to fixed 3D. Okay. And then go to the size, still while your picture box is selected, and then change the height to 4. Okay. And then place it somewhere here, and then let's move our label in front of any control. So bring to front. There you go. And then let's name this. Select the label, and then from the properties, let's name this sex. Okay. The next, we will do the same thing for favorite food and favorite subject. So let's just copy and paste this one. Then put it somewhere here. And then let's change this to, go to the properties, change this to favorite subjects. And then let's also copy this one, but we will change this to favorite fruits. And then we will remove each of the radio buttons inside of this container. Okay, and then let's add now the checkboxes. So let's type checkboxes on our search bar under the toolbox, and then there you have it. We have another checkbox. Click, then place it just below the favorite subject, and then make a 3 copy of this. So select, copy and paste. There you go. And then another one, paste. There you go. Okay, we will do the same thing for our favorite fruits. Copy, and then inside of the favorite fruit, while your group box of favorite fruits is selected, paste your checkbox. Okay, there you go. So as we move our group box, the checkboxes inside of the group box moves as well. So let's name now our checkboxes. So since this is about subjects, let's go to the text property and then change this to English, math, and then let's apply some good positioning of our controls. There you go. And then one last more thing. Let's add a text box at the bottom of our form. So this is our text box, and then place it just below of the form. And then while your text box is selected, go to the properties and then change the name. Let's change this to texty message. Okay, and then move down to the multi-line property. Look for the multi-line. There you go. Change this to true so that we can resize our text box. And it will be able to accept multiple lines of text. Okay, so there you go. And then let's try running this. Okay, so we can choose from this. We can choose from the civil status, and then we can check these favorite fruits. And then what we will do next is to display all the selected options using the text box. So let's do that on the next part of this video.